Riverhead waiver, as you're aware, we completed our
I'm sorry, yes, we need to vote. Thank you.
sorry.
Space. That's okay. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Now drivers.
Now driver waiver. As you're aware, this evening we did hold our hearing for the driver ed education waiver. We followed the protocols that have been put in place in terms of notification on the website, newspaper. We have mailed letters to our legislators to make them aware. There is now a 45-day turnaround once we submit the application to the Oklahoma State Board of Education. So everything is in proper place. Now we would need approval from the board to go ahead and move forward with the submission of the application to Oklahoma State Board of Education. So I would ask for the approval to do so, to increase the fees up to $250.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bozo?
Aye.
Mr. Lulo?
Aye.
Mr. Lucetti?
Aye.
Mrs. Molinari?
Aye. Policies, second reading.
Second reading of the policies, there are some items of student behavior, once again, Senate Bill 100, which will change the way really all schools in the state of Illinois administer discipline. Takes out the zero tolerance completely, and as Dr. Cohen stated, our educational ops will come in, will be helpful there in our transition to keep those students educated, keep them in schools. Some footnote changes, otherwise pretty straightforward changes. If there's any questions, I can do my best to answer those, but I would ask that you approve the update of the press policy at this time.
I have a motion to approve the policies as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Lulo?
Aye.
Mr. Lucetti?
Aye.
Mr. Bozo?
Aye.
Mrs. Molinari?
Aye.
Yes.
Modification to policy 2151, that would be the Finance and Building Advisory Committee policy.
We're asking for one change. The second reading of this change that we go at least one, but no more than two representatives from each middle school, junior high, feeder school. And so we wanted to get started with the group and then possibly build to two representatives from each area. So I would ask the board to approve this change as presented.
Motion to approve the change as presented to the Finance and Building Advisory Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Agricultural lease.
Bring forward the agricultural lease for 191st and Harlem. We, in the past, received $3,500 in rent. You're not able to farm the entire property as some is floodplain. It was converted from a sod farm to row planting here over the last couple of years. The lease I'm proposing this evening would be for $5,000. The crop would be planted in the next couple of weeks, would be harvested in the fall. I'm sure at some point this board will entertain the possibility of selling some of our land. We discussed that in the past, and I will anticipate in the future. But it would be unrealistic to think that anything would be completed within that 5-6 month growing season. If it were part of this agreement, we would have to pay for the seed and the fuel and the time of the planting. If it were not, it's an opportunity for $5,000 in revenue. It also allows that property to be maintained by that farmer for the next 6 months.
Motion to approve the agricultural lease for the property 191st in Harlem.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please. Oh, I'm sorry.
I still think this is kind of a low offer. Without knowing how many acres he can farm, if you look at it relative to what
It is.
we're able to get in Manhattan, So, I mean, is there any concern from your point, Scott, on having, if we did have to do something on that land, the cost of the seed and all of the fuel and everything that we would have to reimburse? Is this worth moving forward on?
Well, that's a very good question, Chris, and I don't have the actual cost of what we would have to pay back if we were to do it. Based upon the size of the parcel, the cost of the sale of the land, that would be an insignificant portion of the total that we would bring in. So it's $5,000 worth it. I think it is because it's able to be maintained, and then also the likelihood of turning the land over in 5.5 months. I don't think it's likely, but it is well below the price per acre what we receive on the properties in Manhattan. A little bit more competitive structure with more farming going on in Manhattan. This particular farmer also farms other land in that area, in that general vicinity.
This is his maximum price.
Well, I got it to go from 3,500 to 5,000. And we had talked that the other option he gave would be a crop share, which he would subtract the cost of the fuel and the seed, and then we would split the proceeds or the profits 50-50. And I asked what that would be, and that determines upon the price during the harvest time. So that was another option he gave.
Then in the same token, if there's a storm or something happens and the crop is lost, too, I mean, this is a guarantee.
Yes,
I know it's low,
it's still low, yes.
but still a guarantee.
It's still guaranteed 5,000, and then it's maintained for the next 6 months.
If they didn't maintain it, we would have to maintain that.
Technically, we would have,
Technically, yes.
we would have to go out and pay to have it cut because we.
If it becomes overgrown.
Any other questions? So much of that land is through a floodplain, and
Right through the center.
right in the middle of it, yeah. Hearing
Still,
none.
do we know how many acres he's planting?
I don't know how many acres it's planted.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Mr. Kozel?
Aye.
Mr. Lulo?
Aye.
Mr. Luchetti?
Aye.
Mrs. Molnar?
Aye. Informational items, report of the Lincoln Way Special Ed 843 Governing Board. Ron, you attended that?
I did. I attended that meeting pretty much at the end of the year. It's pretty much business as usual. But the significant thing to note was that as of April, revenues were ahead of expenditures by about $1 million. So whatever that continues through the end of the year, if there's a refund, each district will get refunded proportionally to what was inputted. So we're hoping for some check at the end of the year.
That's good news. Thank you. FOIA requests.
In your backup materials is a list of FOIA from April 4th to May 4th, a total of 40. We'll continue to keep all the staff administration busy on Green River Bridge requests.
Legislative report. Anything to report?
Yes, a couple formula overhaul. On Tuesday, the state Senate passed Senate Bill 231, vote of 31-21 to 3, which would overhaul the state school funding formula. Senator Hutchinson, Senator McGuire voted in favor of the legislation, while Senator Hastings voted against the legislation. The bill now moves to the House for consideration. There's been different amounts presented in terms of winners and losers for this bill. I know that today an evidence-based funding model formula was presented in Springfield. We'll just continue to keep our eyes and ears open as we move forward with this one. The park opt-out, House Bill 306, failed in committee this week. The bill would require school districts to provide students that are excused from taking the state assessment be offered supervised instructional or enrichment opportunities during the time of the state assessment. The bill also requires the school districts inform parents the right to opt their students out of the assessment. We were glad to see that fail. You know, if we're going to test students and prepare them for those standardized tests, then it's in the best interest to take those tests. Then House Bill 696, the property tax freeze. The House approved a bill that would place all units of local government, school districts, and community college districts under the property tax extension limit law and freeze the property tax rate at the 2015 level. The bill passed 71-31-5. Representative DeLuca and Representative McDermott voted in favor of the bill, while Representative Walsh and Representative Riley voted against the bill. The bill will now move to the Senate for consideration, and we'll continue to monitor the happenings in Springfield.
Thank you. Building and grounds report. Mr. Wilkie.
Evening. At your places, you'll see a copy of the utilities and contractual maintenance report updated through March of 16. Year-to-date expenditures are down $831,715.39. Again, the majority of savings come from reduced natural gas costs as mild weather and rebid custodial services contract. We did also bid out paper products and custodial supplies. We should have the results of that bid for you at the next board meeting.
Thank you. Goal number 1, objective A1A.
Yeah, this is the culmination of 2 years of a project with the new para laws and the new evaluation system coming in. Evaluation is really broken into 2 pieces now. It's watching teachers in classroom, observation, giving them notes and coaching, and then there's what's called the student growth component, and that's the piece that this deals with. So the call from the board was to pilot the student growth portion this year, which we did, to create initial measures of what would be a successful student in an English class. How can we tell how much they should grow during first quarter, second quarter? And that's really what this is. So again, here's what we have. 70% of a teacher's evaluation is based on us watching them, administrators, evaluators, and 30% is student growth, and it's broken into 2 pieces. They have one assessment called the Type 2, which is exactly the same across the district. So every freshman English teacher gives the same assessment. Could be writing, could be multiple choice, could be a mixture, but those scores, they're not compared, but they give us a baseline, and that's what we did this year. So we could see as a pre and a post test, maybe the average freshman across the district went up 11 questions. And we'd say, okay, well, what's expected growth? Is it 11, is it 10, is it 14? So we've set this for every course and every department that we deal with. The other 15% is called an SLO. It's a learning objective that a teacher works on with their evaluator. Let's say that I've always struggled with getting students to participate in class. I can create that as a goal for myself, and then with the evaluator, I just try to work on getting better. And if I show improvement, that's 15% of my evaluation. I like that because it allows our teachers to pick an area that they want to improve on, and that can be anything from participation to behavior modification with kids to content knowledge. It's an area they're interested in. So here's what it looks like. There's 3 types of assessments you could give. Type 1, and a lot of districts do this. They give a national test, and it's ACT Park. We didn't think that was fair at all to put the PE teachers on how our kids do on ACT reading. But some places do that. It just saves you the headache. But we have our district-wide Type 2s and Type 3s, which are the personals. I want to show you just one example. This is pretty quick. This is woodworking. You would think, well, how would you really test that? There's a 15 or 20 question quiz that really is pretty detailed. They take it as a pre-test. They take it as a post-test. So we want kids to show improvement in knowledge and content, but that's not all they do. Then they have a project that they try and create at the beginning of the course, and then they come back to a similar project at the end. It's graded on a really tight rubric, so I don't know if you can read that well, but the first one is the width. If it's exact, they get 5 points. Within a 1/16 of an inch, they get 4. It's a lot of detailed grading, but in my world, if it's a woodworking class, this is probably more valid than the 20-question multiple choice test. But you put them together, and you get the kid who knows what he's doing and can then produce it and do it well. That's really what mastery looks like in learning. It's knowledge and skills. And so a lot of our teachers have gone to that, to 2 different styles of assessment. You mix and match them, and that's where you get the student growth component. So really happy with it. I want to just click right to the end real quickly. Here's what we've created so far. We have over 60 examples that are just really fine exemplars of those SLOs. We asked for 3 or 4 from every department. I've got a file of PDFs we're going to share with the teachers next year. Next year's the first time they do this that it counts, that it has stakes. This was our practice year. And so they're going to be able to look at least 60 examples. Maybe somebody in math steals an idea from English. That's going to be their objective, their SLO. So I like what we've done. And then all of our major courses and even most of the small ones like woodworking have a district-wide type 2 assessment. No matter what school the kids go to, that assessment is the same and the teachers are judged the same way. So really happy with it. Bottom line is that was a 2-year process to get all that done. 440 teachers. We spent time on institute days, just about every delayed start working to get there. Between the instrument we have now and this piece, I think it's going to be very fair and really show if students do grow or not.
Okay. Mr. Riley, one question. Are all students being assessed as part of that district-wide assessment? All students?
Right. Every teacher will give that pre and post test, and when it's the teacher's evaluation year, that'll be used to judge how students move.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Community relations, foundation report, Mrs. Lopez.
Good evening. I'm very pleased to announce that the Foundation Board is once again awarding $20,000 in scholarships to 40 graduating seniors. Foundation directors Jamie Bebach, Janet Cachetta, and Bob Shazar enjoyed presenting scholarships this week at Lincoln Way West and Lincoln Way East. Directors Michelle Moyle, Kim Jurasic, Liz Worth, and Steve Hogan will present next week at Lincoln Way North and Lincoln Way Central. Our ability to fund scholarships is a reflection of the support of our community. We've recently closed the ad solicitation portion of our calendar campaign. That effort was so successful, we worked up a redesign to accommodate additional coupons. In addition to many returning advertisers, we welcomed 17 new advertisers. We are grateful for the support of our local businesses. The progress for our partner program remains strong. At this time, we've renewed 72% of our 2015 partners and have welcomed 3 new partners to the program. On the alumni side of things, I met with our alumni planning committee earlier this evening, and on their behalf, I would like to take a moment to remember and recognize Jim Gast, class of 1959, who passed away on Monday, May 9th. Jim served the Lincoln Way community as a volunteer for 33 years. His leadership, generosity, and support extended to the Lincoln Way Alumni Committee as well as the Lincoln Way Foundation. I don't think Jim ever missed an alumni welcome home event or ever said no to an alumni group who requested his participation in reunion plans. He was instrumental in helping the committee plan and deliver our alumni mentor days and our all alumni breakfast. Jim always enjoyed welcoming our younger alumni from all 4 of our high schools to special events. He was also a friend to the Lincoln Way Foundation. For example, when the foundation wanted to implement a table captain party as a promotion of our annual dinner gala, Jim and Mary Lou generously agreed to host the event at their home. We expected to welcome 30 or 40, perhaps 50 people to the event. That number swelled to over 100. And as that number grew, I remember Jim saying to me, "Let's just hope for good weather," which was a pretty big hope, given that the event took place in November. Jim and Mary Lou took it all in stride and made everyone feel like an honored guest and a welcome friend. Jim loved Lincoln Way. He expressed that love through a commitment and dedication to service. We are blessed to have known him. He will be missed. Thank you.
Thank you. Community relations report.
Good evening. It's been a busy month. We kicked off the Startup Scholarship Nights on Tuesday at Lincoln Way West, where over $63,000 was awarded in the form of scholarships for 107 graduating seniors. East held their scholarship event last night, totaling over $101,000 to 129 students. Lincoln Way North's Scholarship Night will take place next Tuesday, May 17th. Central's Scholarship Night will take place next Wednesday, May 18th. On May 5th, Lincoln Way West hosted Lincoln Way North in their annual Kick for a Cure soccer fundraiser, which raises money to the fight against breast cancer. players presented a check to Silver Cross Cancer Foundation at halftime, and to date, this annual event has raised more than $20,000. Additionally, over the past 2 weeks, Lincoln Way High School has participated in College Signing Day, honoring student athletes who have committed to playing a sport at the collegiate level. Overall, there were 70 student athletes who will continue their athletic talents into their college career. Finally, our high school graduations are quickly approaching. District 210 graduation dates are as follows. Central's is on Tuesday, May 31st, North, Wednesday, June 1st, West, Thursday, June 2nd, and East, Friday, June 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you. Superintendent's report.
As Terry just mentioned, North and West hosted the Kick for a Chair soccer match, something that is an annual event. Lincoln Way East Boys Tennis broke a record by winning its 34th consecutive Southwest Suburban Conference dual meet. Quite an accomplishment dating back to now 2012 since they've been dual meet. As Karen said, we have a number of signings. Very proud of those athletes who will continue their participation at the collegiate level. Teresa Kozak brought home another first-place title at the state level in April with the Sons of American Revolution essay contest. Each competitor is required to submit an essay entitled How Junior ROTC Has Prepared Me to Be a Better Citizen. So it recognizes superior cadets for their leadership, academic performance, and patriotism. So congratulations, Teresa. And then we hosted a number of students, 144 students who were honored with the Seal of Biliteracy Award this past April. So congratulations to all those students. In terms of summer school registration is now closed. However, we will continue to add students where there is room in sections. We're within 50 students enrolled, the same as last year. So we're right on pace. Transition to Skyward is going well. Our data migration on the financial side is taking place now. We will continue to work through that through the months of May and June. And July 1, we will go live with our financials on Skyward, working diligently at this point.
Transition update.
Good evening. On behalf of the principals, Dr. Schmidt, Dr. Probst, Dr. Cohen, and myself, I am pleased to be able to give a transition update of what is occurring at all of our high schools. Each school has brought together leadership teams comprised of students from all of the schools to help out, in particular at the February open house. These leadership teams have been used to gather information on the types of activities the students want as we move forward. Many of our athletic teams have reached out to students to begin involvement through workouts and summer camps. Clubs have had joint meetings, pizza parties, and mixers. The life and practical programs in our special services department have had a series of field trips to the buildings that they are attending. All of the schools have reached out to welcome their new students through the open house, and for example, some of our schools are sending or have sent good luck on final notes, welcoming notes, and others have done welcoming videos. We will meet with all of the class officers after their elections to plan for the future. We will have times throughout the summer for students to tour the buildings. We're planning a leadership conference in June, and in August, students will have scheduled pickup days and be invited to all school picnics and orientations. Our counselors are working closely together throughout the district to assist those students who may be having a difficult time with the transition. We have offered field trips for the groups of students who may feel anxious about the move. In addition to this, we are very sensitive to each other at our schools. We are all going through this change, and the students have told us they would like to end the year together. This past week, I once again met with groups of students at East, as each of the principals has been doing. And the students indicated they want to enjoy these last few weeks with their current classmates before leaving for summer. There are many activities that have recently and are yet to occur this year, such as the prom, social, final club activity celebrations, award nights, and spring activities. So lastly, we do welcome and look forward to all of our students moving to East, Central, and West, and we will continue to provide academic and social opportunities for each and every student. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mahal. Correspondence?
I have two items of correspondence. The first, resignation of Dr. Arvin Johnson, effectively resigning his position on the school board, effective April 28th. And the second bit of correspondence is from Lawrence B. Johnson, Vice President of Silver Cross, thanking our girls soccer teams from West and North for participation in the annual breast cancer awareness match and their generous donation.
Thank you, Dr. Tingley. Our next meeting is scheduled for May 26th, and that will be at Lincoln Way West. We do not have any closed session. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you all for coming.